Okay. In my last video, I attempted to apply heat sinks to the chips in my Commodore 64, which succeeded, but it was made abundantly clear to me by my friends on YouTube that I could have done better. I used these heat sinks for starters. These tiny little critters. Now, they were recommended to me because they're small, I suppose, and I didn't quite explain why I wanted to use them at all. But these are for situations more like the ones on the back of the pack, you know, for modern PCs, which have a cooling fan. These heat sinks don't have much in the way of fins, so they actually require airflow to really cool. So, bad choice. The other thing that I did, that I could have done better, well, that I should have done better, was to apply these things to the middle part of the chip, because that is where the die is, and that is where the chip gets hottest. Now, I didn't do that because there were clips sitting in those places on the chips, and those clips were the actual connection to the heatsink. Now, I kind of figured out that the shielding was also the heatsink, and it is in fact quite an effective heatsink because it's large. I do think, however, that the connection that an actual heatsink would make to the chip would be better than the one that we saw. And the other thing that I did is that white gunk that was on the chips. Looking back, I really feel that the original manufacturer of this thing didn't do a very good job with the thermal paste. The white gunk was thermal paste, and well, there was a tiny amount, and it wasn't spread out very well. So what I did decide is to reinstate the original. These pliers are again too big as they were the last time, so they didn't shrink. I decided to reinstate the previous situation and just put the original heat sinks back the way they were, but I'm gonna have to add paste, which I've ordered. By the time I get this screw out, well, I won't actually. I'll just leave it in. I've just ordered paste, and I'll apply the paste, and I'm gonna get it out. There it goes. Apply the paste, put the sink back, and that'll be that. And I won't ever add heat sinks to this Commodore again. Now, the thermal paste. Thermal paste is a whole different discussion. Most people would say that the Arctic Silver 5 is the best way to go, because it is the only well, because, I don't know, because people have been using it for a long time, because it's, oh yeah, I remember now, because it's, I'm going to do this off camera, sorry, because it's used a lot, it's popular, people have been using it for years, and it doesn't disappoint. It's not the cheapest, but not the most expensive, either, I think. Got it. Oh, careful now. Take the lead out. Thank you. Check the time. Oh, I got time. Take the keyboard off. But I don't know anything about paste, and so I went on Tom's hardware site where they actually did several tests with different kinds of paste. Not all of them, because they're quite a lot. They even used toothpaste. What are the cooling properties of toothpaste? So they actually did tests which they documented very well, and they measured the amount of cooling that all of these pastes actually give. So I went to my local store and they had Cooler Master paste, which didn't come out of the test very well. Now, it can be argued that these pastes are tested for modern CPUs and GPUs, and that actually applying it in a situation, applying it in a situation like this in this Commodore wouldn't require the best paste you can get for a CPU. But I decided to read through the test and choose the one that I thought was affordable and that had a good review from Tom's Hardware. And one of the things that it said is that there's an Arctic line. The one which I've ordered is the Arctic MX2. There goes my screw. Arctic MX2, which isn't very expensive. It's not the cheapest. Not the cheapest either. But it does a good job. There's the Arctic MX4, which did a better job, which did a job that wasn't much better than the MX2, but it was harder to work with. Some of these pastes you have to heat before you can actually use them comfortably. And then it said it also tested the Arctic 5, the Arctic Silver 5, which is nothing to do with the Arctic brand. And it said literally that it's the only paste that uses silver, which probably has great, conductive properties or something, I don't know. And it used to be the bomb, but now many of the pastes that you can get perform just as well or better than the Arctic Silver. So I decided to be a dick and order something that wasn't Arctic Silver 5, and I got the MX2 stuff. And that's what I'm going to use. But I'm going to have to remove the stuff that I put in. Now, why do I think there's one more screw somewhere? I don't know. See, these are the actual thingies. They're actually quite a lot larger than I thought. Good. See, there was one there. I knew it. We still recording? Yeah. You may not be seeing everything, but I'm just removing screws here. It's not rocket science. Putting these things back in without a magnetic tip was not easy in some cases. My ice cube tray is sitting over there, so I can't reach it. Can't reach it right now. So, hello. Here we go again. There we go again. Now, I'm just gonna try. Oh, see, they just twist off. These sinks were actually quite cheap. So I'm not too bothered removing these. Having no cooling at all right now, I shouldn't turn on my Commodore, and I'm not doing that. These things are magnetic. These things are magnetic. They stick together. So, heat sinks for sale, anyone? I got a new pack. Woohoo! Okay, so they're off, and I'm glad that went very smoothly. So the job now is first to wait for the paste and to put the new paste. Oh, didn't I drop a screw? Yeah, I did. To drop a bit of paste on these 3 chips, on these 2, on this one and the Vic. So these 3, these 2, this one and the Vic. So that's the thing. So all we have to do now is wait for the paste. And that's going to be the next fun thing. I'm still blowing dust out of this thing. Oh, let's look at the assembly number. Maybe some of you picked that up. I got the 250425. Anyone? I don't know. Someone said this is a bread. Hans Biwak said this is a bread bin board. So that might mean that this case was married to this board at one point. So it's sort of an after production or whatever. I don't even remember where I got this thing. Don't know. Anyway, step 1: removing of the mistake. This has been done. Oh yeah, and this is the thing that I wanted to say. So the die. One of the reasons why I didn't want to put a heatsink over this one is because it has all the information, like, you know, the chip code and the revision and everything. It has it right there. So if you apply heatsinks, you have to apply it to the center part. This is where the die is. Now, don't ask me what a die is exactly, but that's like the heart of the chip. That's where all the, where all the stuff is. And I guess all the rest is just cooling. I don't know, or like traces to go to the pins, because the chip is really small, but the pins, the pins actually take up most of the space. Anyway, I should have put them. The heatsink should have been there, but I put them there, and then, someone said, well, you did it wrong because you should have cooled that bit, which is why the prongs of the shield actually touch that bit. Well, I've learned something. Maybe you have too. So, thanks for watching. So far, I'm gonna get the paste, put it on, and I'll see you then. Bye. Bye? What do you mean? I'll see you in a second. Yep. I'm back. I got the paste. And here it is. It's the Arctic MX2. 8-year durability, so won't have to change it in 8 years. Doesn't contain any metal, so it's not conductive. It's not capacitive, and it's way better than my Commodore really needs. But there it is. Little syringe, 4 grams. It's about $5 or $6. It's not much. So I'm going to apply it to the place where the clips of the heatsink touch the chips. I have to, that's the lead, I have to bend back into place 1, 2, and 3. The rest is all touching. I've looked at the way that you are supposed to apply this stuff, and this is really meant for modern day GPUs and CPUs and that kind of stuff. And they actually apply quite a lot of pressure. So the trick is to put a little dab of this on the chip, and then, and then the cooler clamps onto the chip with a lot of pressure, and that sort of spreads the paste out. Now this stuff isn't gonna apply any pressure at all, so I may have to do that with my finger. I'm thinking of just doing a little kind of a grain of rice, or probably just a little ball, and then I'm just gonna press it, not too hard, but I'm just gonna press it down, and that should do the trick. The original stuff wasn't on that well either, so I'm gonna start. Hopefully they don't break off. I'm gonna bend them down a little bit farther than the other ones, because I want them to really sit well. Like that. I'm going to screw the stuff down, so it's gonna keep it in place. Okay. Put my screws here. I can't remember which is which. These are the, yeah, I got it. Okay, let's do it. Now the trick is that I'm gonna have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Of course, this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. Alright, I'm gonna have to do them all. Put this over. I'm gonna have to do them all, and they all touch in the center, so do them all and then put the thing back on. I've never done this before, so just like that. Oh fuck, you can make a mess. I didn't know that. It's quite a lot actually I'm putting on. Some is gonna spill. Now I am confident that it doesn't do anything because it's not conductive. So I spilled a tiny bit here, but that doesn't really worry me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's just as good or bad as it was, so. Now, I only have one hand to do this now. This is going to be a problem. Right, well, I'm going to screw these back on. I'll see you in a bit. So that's them. I'm actually quite happy because I can see the paste spilling out beyond the clips here and there. They're all firmly down, they're all covered. So, and everybody tells me that this is the best heatsink that I could wish for, so I'm not worried at all. So it's just a matter of putting the thing back together now. Now I've noticed that putting this together, the LED wires here, they're at risk of getting crushed by the keyboard. The best thing is to line this keyboard up with the screw holes. If I could find them. Here. Right. The keyboard goes all the way to the right, almost all the way. If you don't pay attention to the wires, they get crushed. So, put the keyboard back in. One of the reasons why I don't like to do things like this is stuff is fidgety. Tiny screws and tiny holes, and I don't have the hands for it. All right. Okay. Plug the keyboard back in. I'm probably blocking the view right now. Okay. That's it. And then that's on. And the cover with the lead. That's it. Now some pastes actually have, I think they call it a curing time, sort of an incubation time that it takes before the thing actually works. So I'll just always remember that shift lock key, guys. After you've worked with the Commodore, that thing is always pressed. So that's it. I'm just gonna leave it to sit here for a bit, and then the paste supposedly doesn't have that curing time, so you can use it immediately. But you know, just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna wait a little bit before I turn it on. So I'll see you in a bit. Here we go. Shift lock is in its original position, and this looks alright. let's just play Supernatural. Oh, I think I even put Supernatural in its own folder. Or it's just what I didn't do. Let's just play Spaceman Spore. Mount. Here we go. Okay. Loaded. Let's go. Here we go. I really shouldn't do gameplays during daylight because I get a lot of reflection in my screen. Nope, there we go. Deed! One more, just no. Oh, there we go. Crikey. Is that the same score I had just now? Oh, less. Last time. The sign of a good game. Last time. Oh, well, I think it works. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been exciting. Thanks for your help. If you commented and said that I done it wrong, I did, but I fixed it now. So, and if you want to add anything to the fix or how I did it, then just leave a comment and I'll probably respond to it. Okay, see ya.